So this one's going to be a little bit different because every time I enlarge the
An
screen,
eye, a tooth for a tooth, is one which we have probably all heard at one point in our lives. However, this saying can evoke strong emotion when considering the existence of conflict and violent crime in the world today. Violent crimes include crimes where intentional harm is inflicted against another individual during the commission of the crime.
so not
Additionally,
unintentional,
violent
intentional.
crimes can include the threat of intentional harm. The infliction of the harm can include the use of weapons, poison, bodily contact, and more. Most violent crimes are felony crimes. These are considered the most serious crimes
Remember,
and carry a
felony
sentence of
equals
1
more
year
than
or
1 year in
more in
prison.
prison. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation statistics, in 2010, approximately 1,246,248 violent crimes occurred in the United States.
So about
Additionally,
1 in every
aggravated
300
assaults
people.
accounted for the highest number of violent crimes reported to law enforcement at 62.5%. Moreover, robbery comprised 29.5% of violent crimes, forcible rape accounted for 6.8%, and murder accounted for 1.2% of estimated violent crimes in 2010. There are various types of violent crimes. Some types of violent crimes include the following: murder, manslaughter, rape, arson, terrorism, domestic violence, gang violence, kidnapping, robbery, assault, and battery. Let's look at some examples to get a better understanding of violent crimes. Imagine that Bob is angry with his neighbor Jim, who has loud parties every night. Bob decides to confront Jim. Bob approaches Jim with a baseball bat and starts yelling loudly about the noise every night that keeps him awake. Jim attempts to explain himself, but Bob starts screaming in a rage and hits Jim with the bat. Jim suffers from broken bones and a concussion. This is an example of an assault and battery, as Bob committed a violent crime.
Because there was the
Now imagine another
he
scenario.
didn't.
Let's say that Vivian and her husband Peter are fighting about money. Vivian throws a glass of wine on Peter in the middle of the argument. The argument escalates, and Peter lunges toward Vivian, strangling her so she cannot breathe. Vivian grabs a kitchen knife and plunges it into Peter's stomach. Peter collapses and dies on the floor. This is an example of manslaughter, also a violent crime. Violent crimes are crimes